and welcome to Buzz TV. I'm your host, Adrienne Houghton, and we have got an exciting show for you today. There's everything from restaurants and charities and galleries and something for everyone, really family favorites. So watch this space and find out more on Buzz TV. Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Now the summer is in full flow and so are the rains. So are you looking for interesting things to do inside? Then you need to find out all the things that are going on at the Museum of Science and History here in Jacksonville, and I am delighted to welcome the CEO, Mr. Bruce Fafard. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, Adrienne.
Well, let's first of all say that that MOSH is actually 80 years old.
We are celebrating our 80th anniversary.
Fantastic.
A lot of absolutely wonderful happenings going on at the museum. We've got a full year of things going on. In fact, one I want to highlight is on the 8th of August, we're running a special. You can come into the museum for $8.
Aha.
Yes, to celebrate our 80th anniversary.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what other things have you got going on for the anniversary?
Oh boy. So probably one of the more exciting things is we've brought in a brand new traveling exhibit called The Lost World of Dragons. It is absolutely wonderful. The visitors that have come through have completely enjoyed it. It talks about the history of dragons, how it relates to individual cultures, how they were formed, how they incorporated in those cultures. And also there's a very interesting opportunity to go through and learn. There's different things you actually pick up. And at the very end, there's a quiz where you can find out, did you learn about
Did you learn anything?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Are they fictitious?
I'm not going to actually
You're not going to answer that one.
No, you have to come and find out yourself.
So how can the community join the celebrations of for MOSH and 80 years?
We have as I said, we've got a variety of different things going on. We've got a concert coming up, actually this coming Saturday. We've got those scheduled throughout the summer and into the fall. In September, we've got a Mosh by Moonlight activity going on where we're going to have a cocktail reception. You can come in and walk through the Lost World of Dragons.
Fantastic.
Next April, we have what we're calling a Galaxy. It's a gala.
Okay.
And it's going to be themed on a brand new exhibit that we're coming in regarding Da Vinci and all his individual inventions. And so we're very excited about that. In fact, that's curated by a group of artisans from Florence, Italy.
How wonderful.
We're very excited about that.
Do you think that one of the biggest problems that you have is actually getting all the information about what is going on at MOSH out there?
It is a constant struggle because we have so many things going on. I mean, even right now, we've got scheduled over this summer to have 9,000 students come through on field trips, and even our own campers. And so that's very exciting as well. And as I said, we've got activities scheduled every single weekend throughout the entire summer into the fall.
And everything's family friendly, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing that's specifically for adults or specifically for children. It's all for the family?
It most definitely is. When our educators put programs together and work with our curatorial staff, we make sure that we tailor the information and the activity so that it spans different generations.
Yes.
We have activities that are designed for preschoolers right through high school and even engaging parents and grandparents. So we really do provide entertainment across the entire board.
So it's not, oh, no, don't touch, because sometimes it's like, yes, get in there, touch, feel.
Most definitely. Matter of fact, that's part of the learning experience, is being able to have people come in and experience and with their hands and do things.
So
we even have a makerspace where children can come in and create things. And so that's a big part of what we do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, there's been a lot of momentum around Mosh's plans to move to the shipyards.
Yes, yes.
Would you like to explain a little bit more about that?
I'll tell you exactly what's going on there. We've been working very closely with the Downtown Investment Authority, and we're moving ahead with getting access to a parcel 4 acres of land in the shipyards. We hope to have that process completed by the end of the year. We've raised so far $31 million of the 85 that we need to build a brand new museum. And we expect to be able to open that museum sometime early in 2025. Plans are moving ahead very quickly. We actually probably within the next week we'll be selecting, doing the final selection for an architect and be working on plans. We hope to have preliminary designs by the fall and being able to go out and share those with everyone. So we're very excited. It's actually going to more than double our space. We're going to have a lot more maker spaces that'll be interactive, and we're just so excited to develop a world-class museum here in Northeast Florida.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming in and telling us a little bit about it. And please come back in the fall and tell us what's going on in the coming months after.
I will. And I'll bring some pictures on what the new museum will look like.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about Mosh and the events going on, you can also find it out at iwannabuzz.com.
Sorry to interrupt your show. I'm Steve Strum from Buzz TV. Today we have Troy Farquhar from Integrity Law.
Thanks, Steve.
Tell us about your firm.
Yeah, so Integrity Law is a full-service law firm. We do mostly family law, but we also practice in estate planning, personal injury, probate, real estate matters. So look us up, www.integritylawjacks.com.
Thanks for joining us. And you guys can have your show back. Welcome back to Making a Difference. I'm Steve Strum. This morning we have Patricia Ward from Curtis & Company for Children Gone Too Soon. Did I say all of that right?
Yes.
All right, good. Interview's over. So we were talking. Don't tell anybody. You're going to ruin my reputation. Complete sentences and we're good. We were talking a little offset. You have a very interesting special organization that was created because of personal loss. Tell us a little bit about your organization.
Curtis & Company is for children gone too soon, 18 and under, to help family with bereavement issues. Whatever they need, headstones, counseling, we assist with any of that.
So when you say lost too soon, a lost as in no longer part of the living, have passed too soon.
Yes.
And this organization is named after
my son.
Your son.
Yes.
And I know we talked about the offset. You're okay with talking about it on camera. Tell us a little bit about your story and what led you to creating an organization to help others that have gone through the same thing your son has gone through.
My son was murdered at 16, and I was lost for answers and questions and concerns. So I wanted to help other families that lose a loved one go through the closure process. It's a process after you lose a loved one. So I wanted to keep that going and to help families that need closure in any way possible.
So when you have a murder that's happened or somebody's lost life too soon, there's an open wound that never seems to heal. And the longer and longer and longer the process goes, the more and more and more somebody has to relive it. What has this organization done in order to help people have that direction? What is it that you guys are doing for those people in the time of crisis?
Once a year, we also do headstones. So a lot of times, it don't matter how that child died. Any loss of a child is sad.
Yes.
And it needs closure and it needs process. It could be as simple as a headstone. Some families can't afford the headstones. So we provide headstones for the families. Once a year, we call it Thanksgiving Blessing. So we do an event, and that is closure. Counseling, they don't get counseling for it. We have all kind of organizations in Jacksonville, so we refer them to them. We also have a petition to help families in a homicide investigation. Right now, I feel they don't give the families enough. There's enough compassion when you come to tell a loved one that their child is gone.
So what happens now, and what are you trying to affect change on?
Laws.
Okay.
We're trying to change laws.
What's the petition say?
The petition says Curtis Law, and it's to help families get basic information in a homicide investigation of a child.
So that mom can play along at home, at least understand the process as you're trying to grieve, as you're trying to figure out how life is going to look.
Yes.
At least it helps you get a roadmap.
Yes, because they become a number. When your loved one passes away, it becomes a number.
Sure.
Opium, hit and run, car accident, they become a number after you leave. So when you call the police, there's a case number. When you call the coroner, that's a different case number. So this gives them more information. So when they call and ask for information, they're head up. Because now I'm not calling about John Chavez. I'm calling about case number 2348.
So if people want to find out more about your organization, if somebody's dealing with this right now, they're just trying to get through today.
Yes.
What's the best way for them to connect with you?
You can go to our website at justice4curtis.org.
So justice number 4 Curtis.org. Org. Not com.
No.
Well, I very much appreciate you coming today. Thank you for sharing your personal story and helping people have a pathway when they're just lost at sea, is to be the lighthouse. It sounds like is what you guys are trying to do, to help people at least understand what happens next.
Yes, and we also got a book,
Uh-oh.
Secrets Kept, Walking by Faith.
By you?
Yes, Church Ward.
Well, I know that's you.
Ah!
Your name's on it and everything. So thank you for joining us this morning. Guys, thanks for joining us on Making a Difference. I'm Steve Strum. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude.
Hello, I'm John Rutherford from the United States House of Representatives, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Michelle McManaman from Operation Uniform, and I am a watchstander, and so is everyone in my organization.
I'm Damika Jackson. I'm the president of the Jacksonville Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Luke Lewis with Xera Realty.
I am Ant Stroud with the Ant Stroud Group.
I'm Bruce Thompson. I'm the Vice President of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
And I am a watchstander.
I am a watchstander. I'm a watchstander.
Each year, over 6,000 U.S. military veterans take their own lives, including one per week in Northeast Florida. The Fire Watch is our community's fight to end veteran suicide. Join us. Become a watchstander today at thefirewatch.org. Together, we will end veteran suicide.
Greetings and welcome to Caring for Seniors. Now, each week I sit down with Dave Stieglitz, who is the president of the Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville, and we discuss all aspects of senior living, from financial planning all the way through to housing and everything in between. Today we're delighted to welcome Michelle Begg from Caring Transitions. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Now, you and your husband, Dennis, founded Caring Transitions. How did you come about doing that?
That's a great question. It was based on personal experience. We went through a period of time where my in-laws were on a 30-acre farm, and they just couldn't stay there any longer. And they're in rural Ohio with no resources around them. And so we were going back and forth from Jacksonville to help downsize the farm that they had lived on. So after we went through that experience, we said there's got to be a better way to do this, and then we found Caring Transitions, and it really resonated with us. So,
my goodness me! And so, what services do you offer?
So think of it this way: if you've been in your home for 50 years and you're getting ready to transition to something smaller, that's pretty daunting. And so what we do is just provide a transition plan to say, okay, let's work on the move. And what are the right amount of things to take to your new home? And then afterwards, we help them deal with all that other stuff that's left over that maybe family and friends don't want. And then we can also help them with the home. So we customize a plan for every single person. Every client gets a customized plan based on what help they need.
Do you find that there's reluctance that you're dealing with people saying, but?
Well, a lot of times Dave takes the reluctance off the table and then we get to him. But sometimes, yes, there's reluctance. But what I find is when we just sit down and we do some planning, and they're very used to planning, then they feel much better. I had a lady yesterday, after I talked her through how we would get her moved and on her timing, she said to me, she's like, okay, I'm not going to break out in hives now. Thank you. You know, she was just so relieved. It was that was her way of expressing how relieved she was. But yeah, that's what we do. We try to make it easy.
I love Michelle's service because, I run into that reluctance when I talk to people and go into their home and talk about moving into assisted living or independent or senior community, and they say, what am I going to do with all this stuff? And that really is, that's a stopping point. They put their foot down. I don't know what, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't deal with this. And I said, well, I've got a solution for that. She helps overcome the reluctance. She's been a great partner for Oasis.
But it's not always the case of letting it go. Do the people actually believe that they can't live without some of this stuff? It's stuff, isn't it? It's just stuff.
It is. So yes, there are some things that they just can't live without, and we try to incorporate that in the plan.
Right.
So when we do our consultation, I walk through and I really listen to what's important to them. So if they stop with a piece of furniture that has been in their family for centuries, then I make note. That's important, and I want to try to put that into their new home. People have a tendency to go to the things that are important and talk about those things first. And then all that other stuff is just stuff. So I key in on what are those things that are important to them, and then we build a plan around that. So,
golly.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with Caring Transitions?
I met her shortly after we opened our business 7 years ago.
Because it was necessary.
It's a great synergy, exactly. Because they'll go in. You know, I mean, you're talking about somebody's in a 2,600 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and we're going to take and move them into a 800 square foot apartment somewhere.
Right.
And it's beautiful what they do. They come in and they go to that apartment, they measure the walls, they lay it out, and then they go to the house, like she said, and she says, okay, this will fit here, this will fit here, this won't fit at all. And they have the whole thing planned before, the move ever happens.
Right.
It's quite something. I mean, I keep thinking back to myself and how much stuff and what I could let go. And I think not ready yet. Just not ready.
I know, and it's a process. It really is. It is about putting them on a slow journey of letting go versus being dictatorial. It's really about, okay, this is your transition process. Now let's just walk you through it. Sometimes that has to happen pretty quickly if people wait too long and it's an emergency situation. But we still try to take the same approach and, let them own it and really make their own decisions. And then we just execute it and nicely get them moved in, and then they're at home. It's just a
There's obviously going to be people out there who are listening to this saying, I know, my house is full of stuff. I need to do something about it. Are there things that they can start to do now which would make things easier in the future?
Absolutely. So what I usually focus on is, first and foremost, if your children say, yes, I eventually want your china, go ahead and give them the china.
Don't keep hold of it.
Don't keep hold of it. If your family members truly want something, start to give that as gifts now. Because then that way, number one, either they're going to take it, or you're going to find out that maybe they were just being kind and they didn't want to tell you they really wanted your china, but you're now freed up to do what you need to do with it.
Then they say, oh, but we don't have room and you've got more room.
Well, but we talk through strategies, but yes, and it's really, start small. Just start very small. Start with the junk drawer, or start with the pantry and get rid of expired food. It's just getting into a mindset and a mode of streamlining and go easy first. And then all of a sudden those bigger projects don't look so big. that make sense?
It makes total sense. I mean, given your experience, what does a real transition look like from your perspective from start to finish?
So, great question. The ideal transition is one where once somebody works with Dave to figure out where they're going to move to, then we can go in and we just focus solely on the move. You know, many times people want to focus on what do I do with all this stuff. We zero in on first the move, okay?
Right.
And we take it in phases. So we get them moved in. We say take a few weeks, come back, get what maybe was forgotten, and then we launch into okay, now let's deal with everything that's left over. So making sure that it's in bite-sized chunks versus I'm just walking in and I'm completely overwhelmed with my house. We just try to get it focused on small steps.
And do you sometimes, I mean, you did touch on the fact that sometimes it's very quick, you have to move very quickly. Ideal timing, if somebody, is not under time pressure, what's your ideal timing?
I would say an ideal timing would be about a month. We could get the move, completed, walk them through that process, take that time. Excuse me. And then for all the stuff that's left over, that really is driven by the family coming in, getting what they want. But usually another month to 2 months, if they can have the luxury of time and they don't have to sell their house right away, just take that time to start to disconnect.
And
you've referenced the leftovers a couple of times. Because I love the program that you have for the leftovers.
Okay.
Talk about that a little bit.
So the way that we liquidate a home is through an online auction site. It's a national online auction site called ctbids.com. And basically we go in and we figure out what can we sell on this site. We take photographs. And similar to an eBay, people out there bid on things. We hold an online auction. And then in a very civilized way, people go in, pick up their items, and take them away. So it's very private.
They have over 75,000 subscribers nationwide.
Yeah.
If you actually have collectibles, I mean, there have been stuff I've seen bid on from California and New York and things like that. But most of it goes locally. And the neat thing about it, as opposed to a local estate sale, you don't have people traipsing through the house for 2 weeks,
Right. Yes.
picking stuff up and messing around. That's all done online. And then they say, here's your pickup window Saturday from 10 to 2. Come and get it.
Yeah.
Or we ship it to you or whatever. It's just such a neat thing. And I subscribe to
I was
the
going to say,
auction.
spoken like a true client. Yeah.
Because, I love picking up.
What is that website address again?
It is www.ctbids, so carrying transition, ctbids, bids.com.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Believe me, I've gotten some wonderful bargains.
And to that point, a traditional estate sale has more of a local market. This has a national market. So for collectibles, where Florida, we're very heavily weighted with collectibles, given the retiree base here, we now can sell those nationally versus just the walk-through traffic of a traditional estate sale. So it works really well.
It's amazing. So my favorite,
I know that my husband's going to be writing down as we speak, this information, going right.
My favorite story of working with them is a lady I had that had dementia, and it was almost like The Notebook over and over again. Every time we went back, you had to start over. But we had it all lined up for the move that one morning. The community came and got her, put her in their van, and took her back and had her busy all day. As soon as she was out the driveway, they came behind with the trucks. They took pictures of how the house was laid out. She was in a fairly small house, and she was moving to a 2-bedroom apartment, so the square footage was pretty similar. But they took pictures, took all her stuff. They spent the day in there. They put everything back the way it was. Every nightstand had, the little doily on it, the lamp and the thing exactly like it was. Every end table, everything in the house. The pictures were lined up just like she was at home. And at 5 o'clock, they said, we're done. The community went and got her, took her and her dog into the apartment. She walked in and said, I'm home.
Wow.
It was amazing.
It
was amazing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
But that's what we strive for. We want people to walk into this home where, it's a very scary transition in time in their life, and they're just automatically comfortable.
Have you had difficult transitions?
Oh, we've had difficult ones, yes. They've been tough. But for the most part, I would say 95% or more are very smooth. And people, once they get in and they are no longer worried about how do I set up my new place, they just go down and have dinner that evening, and they can go and crawl right into bed because their bed's already made. You know, it's a different way of transitioning into a senior living environment. So.
My goodness.
Yeah, that that brings a tear to my eye. Just
I'm
thinking
sure.
about that.
I'm sure.
It does. That was very touching.
Was this something that you always knew that you probably were going to be doing? This is, you know, working with seniors and helping them, or do you think it was just purely based on that family situation and you had to do it?
That's a great question, because my whole background was a corporate career. So this is like completely different. I think what the personal experience did was it gave me a new level of empathy for what people are going through during a late in life transition. Sure. And I was at the time, you know, at a place in my life where I could understand it better. Whereas prior to that, I probably wouldn't have been as understanding. But when you go through it with a parent, as anybody knows, that's very difficult and it's very personal. So I think that for both my husband and myself, this occurred exactly when it was supposed to in our lives.
Yeah.
So
if people want to learn more about your business or anything that you do, because is it just for seniors or do you help other people?
Oh, we're helping a lot of other people right now. So yeah, busy executives are contacting us, and you know, they're maybe changing homes, and they said, look, we're both working. Can you come in, pack us up, move us, and put it away? So it's starting to grow. The concept is growing beyond the senior population.
And so how do people find you?
So they can just call our office. It's 904-416-0685. And that basically is the first point of contact for setting up a free consultation.
Right. And then is there also an ability to go onto a website perhaps?
Yes. Going to www.caringtransitionsfirstcoast, because that's our website, .com.
Thank you for coming in and telling us about this.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some smooth transitions that are going to be taking place over the next few months.
We do our best.
Wonderful.
So thank you so
Michelle.
much.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about Caring Transitions First Coast, you could also find out on iwannabuzz.com. Wow, that was fantastic. What a great show, and what interesting businesses. Don't forget, if you need any more information, you can go to iwannabuzz.com. Bye for now.